What's up, y'all? AJ Simmons back with another great interview for you guys. Today's guest comes to us out of Canada, actually. He built a seven-figure cleaning company and still doesn't have an office, which I thought was interesting, so we can touch on that. But without further ado, please welcome Mr. Jared Sarbit. Did I say that last name right?
Headed to the top, ain't none of y'all stopping me. Used to say I never get a ring, Charles Barkley. Now I got a wife, got kids, own property. Bubble-eyed beans that look like that be watching me. Okay, I lied about the beans, but that was hard though. I'm still in that black act, but she starred though. Cause that's all it takes. I'm flashing for. I'm on my grind, not no more fashion show.
You nailed it. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Perfect, Jared. All right. Well, thank you for coming on, man. And just to start us off, man, could you just tell us a little bit about your background, where you're from, and the name of your company?
Sure. Yeah. So like you said, I'm from Calgary, Canada. Okay. And the name of my company is Picture Perfect Cleaning. Okay. We started almost 12 years ago now. So yeah, it's been 11 and a half years. And it's been a great run. You know, we started from the scratch, cleaning 2 coffee shops, and my partner and myself, and now we've grown quite a bit. So
that's what's up, man. That's what's up. Okay, well, I won't waste anybody's time. I already said you hit 7-figure level, so if you could just to jump right into it, so everybody can know who we're speaking to here. Where are you guys right now as far as monthly revenue?
Monthly revenue, so we're doing about 277,000 a month.
Okay, so what is that, like
3.3 million or so, just over 3.3 million
perfect
a year. Yeah,
perfect. That's huge, man. Congrats on that, by the way.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So let's rewind a little bit. Now that we got that out the way, let's go back and see what made you get into the cleaning industry anyway.
You know what? So my background was hospitality. I was in the restaurant industry, and you know, it was tough work, and I realized that how risky that industry was for ownership, and the margins were so small, and so for the longest time I thought I was going to be in there, but then I realized that's not where I should be. Yeah. It was actually my now wife. Her father was an immigrant from northern Iraq, and he came here with nothing in his pocket and became a janitor, right, with very little English, and right. And he worked hard, and you know, all 5 of his kids are university educated and very successful. And she told me, you know, there's some really good people out there like her father that, you know, that are like, you treat them well and with respect, and they'll be loyal to you for life, you know. And so at first I looked at it and didn't really take it too serious. Right. You know, it's not the most glamorous industry, but then I started looking at the cleaners at our restaurant, and, you know, the type of service they were providing and how they were treating their people so poorly, very, very little for systems. And I realized there's a good opportunity there.
Gotcha. So you said that you were looking at the cleaners at your restaurant. So you actually did initially start a restaurant.
No, sorry, I was a senior manager of one.
Gotcha. Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Now I heard you said you had a partner. You guys started off cleaning some coffee shops. So could you tell us, like, how did you go about getting those first contracts when you first started?
Yeah, you know what? Those coffee shops were a buddy of mine. He was a manager of them, and I said, "Hey, can we clean them?" And he said, "Sure." And so my partner took one, and I took the other, and it was 7 nights a week. And you know, we went out cleaning, and that's kind of how it started. And you know, it was really through just connections, like knowing people, and through the restaurant and asking people if can I clean your restaurant, can I clean your space, or whatever it was. That's kind of the beginning. Yeah.
Okay. And I always tell people, man, closed mouths don't get fed. So you got to open your mouth and tell people. You never know, you know, who can pull some strings and get you your first opportunity. But now I want to, you know, fast forward. So starting off, it was word of mouth for you. But so far, you know, almost 12 years later, what has been like, I guess, your go-to for generating leads and getting your customers today?
Yeah. Well, honestly, at the beginning, it was cold calling, like, you know, me cold calling. You know, I just hitting the phone. So I would literally clean all night, and then, and then my partner actually moved in with me because he had, very little income coming in. So we both moved in. I had a 900 square foot condo, a 2-bedroom condo. So we'd meet at the kitchen table, and just start hitting the phones. And it was, I'd just call as many people as possible. It was tough, man, getting a lot of rejection, but just, it's just a matter of getting that one lead, right, and led to another and another. So that was originally our foundation of how we started growing. And now it's, a lot of referrals. It's giving, servicing the heck out of our customers, right? So like, happy customers just goes so far, it leads to another one, reputation, Google reviews. There's so much positivity around a happy customer. And then online presence is very important to us as well.
Definitely. I'm gonna touch on that later on as well too. And so I'm wondering too, because actually, first of all, I'm gonna point that out, by the way, because I hammer that home. I always say it was cold call, right? And so to see and hear somebody like yourself that's made it to the level that you made say that, it just helps. Like, listen, y'all, I'm trying to help you now. You hear Jared, all right? But anyway, all right. So how many years did it take you guys before you hit that 7-figure level? Because I know it doesn't happen overnight.
No, it didn't. It was very organic. I think we were year 4 when we hit it. Yeah, and before that, it was grueling. Like the first year, honestly, I didn't pay myself a penny the first year. And the second year, we were paying ourselves every 3 months. It was finally year 3 that we're paying ourselves, consistently. But year 4 is where we had some serious revenue and traction, and we were like, hey, we're making it. We
absolutely. And I heard you say that actually. And by the way, shout out to Ricky Rigolato with Cleanit Cocktails podcast as well. I heard your interview on there, so it helped me cheat for this one. And so you did just mention as well that in year 3 was when you actually, started to pay yourself and put yourself on payroll, officially. And so I've just reached that point here recently. So I got a selfish question at this point. So how did you cap your salary and say, you know what, you see the business revenue still going up, and it's like, but you got to, try to have that discipline to stay. Like, how did you draw the line and say, all right, I'm going to stop and pay myself this amount and we're not going to, keep raising it?
It's a great question. Like there's so many, like we've been now they're kind of we're now, like I've been looking at acquisitions and all these different things, and I'm meeting with a lot of, advisors and from a financial perspective, and everyone's got an opinion, right? And honestly, like I'm trying to not listen to the noise, because I've always been in the mindset of investing ahead, like putting money before. So always having, one more manager than you need, or doing a little bit, like getting a little bit more, like as long as the profit's there, like don't pay yourself first, pay the business first. If you see that the business, it's working, then put the money there, and down the road, you can start paying yourself more. So that's kind of always been, is that your question?
That's perfect, man. Cause I appreciate it, because it's like, I'm struggling, like, it's hard. And, before you get into business, and you always say, well, I don't need to be rich as long as I can make this amount. Right. But once you start experiencing, that the money, the lifestyle creep can happen. And so I want to hear from someone like yourself that's like, all right, where do you draw the line with the salary stuff? Because it's hard not to just take some more, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. It, like, again, like if it's working, if your business is working and your model is working, and put more money into it, like just keep feeding the beast, right? Like, because the beast will just keep growing. So, at one point you'll be able to step back and enjoy, the fruit of that,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
all right, cool, man. So now, do you guys, obviously you have workers, because you don't get there cleaning all those buildings yourself, right? So how do you guys, do you guys hire contractors or employees or both? And then do you have a preference? Okay, you have both. Okay.
Really both. Not really a preference. It really depends on, because we have a lot of, it depends on the government rules. It comes down to that, right? So I think we're pretty similar in Canada as, the United States. And so if the job, dictates that it needs to be an employee, we make him an employee. But if we can pay him as a subcontractor, we would prefer that. But again, we follow the rules. So there's times where we just can't.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Fair enough. All right. So now everybody swears to me there's no good workers out there. Nobody wants to work, right? So is there just any general tips that you can provide for hiring and retaining good workers?
Yeah, I keep hearing that.
Right.
I don't see it, but yeah, yeah. I
I
keep
never saw it. And then even today, even though I'm not specifically in the cleaning industry anymore, even with, my online thing, I don't have a problem with hiring, but I didn't have it then when I was in the cleaning industry either. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We've had a system for hiring from day one that has worked really well, and it's so deep, like it's so deep. And we got to talk separately, but I'm working on a course, right? Because this is very important, and it's just missing in the industry is how to find good people, how to hire them, how to train them, how to develop them and keep them, right?
right.
There's so many parts to that. And if you can make that whole, all those components, firing on all cylinders, you can be very, very successful, right? So, and you'll never have a problem finding people. That's just not an issue. So, it's a deep question, but if I can give you a Reader's Digest version, is number one, the people that you have, treat them like gold. Like, man, like this is the janitorial industry. Like our labor cost is everything. Like there's equipment cost might be like 3 to 4%, and then your people cost can be as high as, like 70%, with your managers and that sort of thing. Right. So, so it's imperative that you treat these people so well. Right. But then to that even go back before that, it's imperative that you hire the right person. So really take the time to find the right people. But then like you said, people are saying they're not finding people. Well, are you really going out to the right resources? Right. Like, like it can't just be like one source, like depending on like a job posting, which is good, but that it can't just be that, so it has to be like I use Indeed, for example, and I put money into it. I spend money on it. But I also use hiring agencies, right? There's a lot in almost every community in Canada. I'm sure it's the same in the States. There's a lot of agencies that actually work with immigrants, and they're often government supported and funded. So there's not even a charge on our end to get these services, and they have people that are wonderful people. They just might not have a lot of English or whatever it may be, and they're looking for work. So you just have to make sure that you're exposing yourself to as many places as possible.
Absolutely. That's perfect right there. And you know what I love when you say things to validate what I preach over here, because it helps me to know that it doesn't change even at that level, right? So it's just good to hear you say that, man. Now, Jared, I noticed on your website, you guys don't list residential cleaning services as a service up there. So is there a reason that you, stay in the commercial lane, so to speak?
Yeah. We've toyed with the idea, like, I got what you call I call it ABD, attention business disorder. Right?
Okay.
So I get distracted easy, and I'll see a shiny light, right? Right. And I always go back to Michael Jordan, right? Michael Jordan, like he was the best basketball player in the world,
right?
But then he got tempted by baseball, right? And he saw, I can do something there, and that was a different story. He wasn't doing it for the money; he was doing it for the experience and all that. But he wasn't the greatest baseball player in the world, right? And so, for me, it's like the residential is different than commercial, right? And I want to be great at one thing and be the best at one thing. I want to be the Michael Jordan of the commercial cleaning industry, right? Yes, so look, like residential will be a distraction for me. And I got to check myself with my ABD, and I just kind of keep shining it. There's similarities, but there are differences. It's a different clientele. It's a different kind of service. It's a different kind of scheduling and management and all of that. Right. So it's a different game. I like the commercial. That's where we started. And I think it's more profitable, more consistent than residential. I think you could argue. So that's my opinion, but I'm sure the residential people will say the other.
Right. Yeah, cool. Fair enough. And me personally, my preference is commercial too, but again, to each his own. All right. Now, I also saw on the website that you guys offer a disinfectant and sanitation service. So I guess my first part of the question is, did you take some type of course or training to learn to do this? And then the second part is, did you take courses or training or hire mentors in general as you've grown?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, we did. It's the Global Bioesk Advisory Council that we took GBAC, that we took our course through online.
Okay.
And it's a division of ISSA.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and it was a very good, not complicated, not hard, because I don't have a very good attention span for stuff.
Right.
But it was actually very good, and it was very helpful for going in. And then we quickly were working with seniors homes that were having mass outbreaks, disinfecting and that sort of thing. So it was very, very useful for that. And as far as the mentorship goes, I've always had a few people around me that I look to and pick their brain, right? It's so important to always be learning. And there's people that look at me that say that, I mentored. I think that's your next question. I won't there's people, but then there's people that I look to, right? You can never stop, right? You can never stop learning. So, so I have some guys that actually, one gentleman from the hospitality industry that it was the president of a international chain that had, I think about 70 locations or so. And, he was one mentor of mine, and my father, my uncles, I'm fortunate to have some good minds around me.
Nice. Okay. And speaking of, while we're on it, and I think I did hear you allude to it. So are you offering any, mentoring or things right now, or is it to come? And then if so, I'm gonna have you back up here if we can, to see if we can, let everybody know about it. But do you have anything right now though?
Yeah. I've always wanted to, right? It's just a passion of mine, because I always wanted that mentorship, right? And like as a young kid, like I just was waiting for someone to find me and say, "Hey, come with me."
Right.
No one really did that as much as I wanted to. So you have to do it on your own. I learned the hard way, but so I have a passion for teaching, and at the end of the day, like I don't think I'm any better than anybody else, but I got lucky and I figured out some systems and some ways. And once you understand them, like it works, right?
Right.
So I do have,
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So I have some ideas, like you said, like we could talk more about it for sure in the future.
Okay.
I'm working on a course. It's in the early stages, but it's really, I think I could give a lot of value to the industry. And the great thing is that we're all in different cities and different countries or whatever.
Right.
So there's no competition there. Like it's there, we can all help each other.
Yep.
And I'm never threatened even by local people, here in Calgary. There's enough business for everyone. It's just such a massive industry. So
yeah, I mean, if you got a good product, you'll be all right, right? So,
right.
And then also, I heard you say that word, and I want to hit on that. You said lucky, and while there's always some luck involved when it comes to success, but like I always tell people, if you never put yourself in a position to get the luck, you know what I mean, then you can't get lucky, right? So it's like we not gonna, just write it off as luck either. We're gonna acknowledge that work that you put in to get this thing started. Because I don't want nobody to hear this, you know what I mean? Especially they say, oh well, yeah, he's lucky because he's a white guy, and I don't want to hear any of that. You know what I mean? You could get lucky too if you just, because I got lucky as well, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, but I got lucky because I took the action to do the work. So I definitely wanted to hit on that, man, to make sure that it's clear.
For sure. Yeah. You couldn't have said it better. I mean, like there's a part of luck. There's a part, but I'm a man of faith, so there's a part of that too.
Right.
But you have to do the work, right? Like you have to. Yeah, no question.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Now you did mention that you had a co-owner, so I want to shout him, or I think it's him. Shout him out, and then also just speak on why do you think the partnership worked for you guys? Because I've seen it not work for so many others.
Yeah, you know what? Like, talk about a blessing. Like, man, our partnership has been amazing. So he was actually, I was his manager at the restaurant, and he was he came from Australia. He was working at a summer camp, and then came and got a job at the restaurant. I hired him, and I just saw like just such an amazing guy, and like he was such a hard worker. He was humble. He was doing all the extra jobs that none of the other servers wanted to do. I would ask him to stay until like 2 a.m. to bleach mugs, and he would do it, right? Like he just had this like can-do, amazing attitude. And I didn't even realize how amazing he was until we actually, even to this day, he amazes me. He was a diamond in the rough, and I got really fortunate. And you know, it's partnerships are risky stuff, right? And but I think the commonality, like we're very different in many. We don't hang out outside of work or anything like that. Very little, very rare. But we talk every day. But our commonalities are, we're not afraid to swing our fists and work really, really hard. And we also have deep trust for each other, where like I don't question him ever on as far as like trust goes. And we're also not afraid to call each other out. Like, you know, like we've pulled each other out in meetings before and said, like, you need to pull yourself together. You know, like we've done it to me and I've done it to him. Right. So, he's, it's an amazing relationship. We got really fortunate.
That's what's up, man. I love it. All right, cool. Now, you guys started, you know, scrappy start, regular old startup. So you would, you know, mom and pop at a point. And so I want to ask, what separated you, do you think, from everybody else that started a cleaning company in that same time frame? What do you think, you know, made you guys stand up?
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, you know, that's again a pretty deep question. But I would say, I mean, the first thing that my mind goes to is systems. So like what I recognized when we started this, when I was looking at the company cleaning our restaurant, is, you know, the guy didn't have any good contracts. He didn't have any accountability. His communication was poor. So everything we did from the beginning was, let's build systems. And everything had, and so when we didn't know what to do, we said, well, let's build a system for it. Right. And that was kind of our language for the first few years. Like, what's the system? Right. Right. So I think that played a big role. More importantly though, truly is treating our people really well. Like creating a culture around your people. Because man, like if they're happy, everything falls into place. Like, you know, if they're loyal to you, they're working hard, you have the right people in the right places, man, like that's the key to everything.
Absolutely.
In our business. So I think that's like, if you have that down, then everything else will fall into place.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. Now, I know you touched on a little bit that, you know, having that online presence and how important that is. And so I guess what I'm wondering now is, are you spending any money to help with that online presence? And if you don't mind sharing, about how much would you say you spend on that each month?
Yeah, so we do. I'll tell you what we spend on ads.
Okay.
So, we spend about $1,000 a month on ads.
Pretty good.
So that's between mostly Google. There's some Facebook and LinkedIn. But we do also invest in SEO. And in my opinion, SEO is more important than Google Ads. Google Ads is a short, quick way, but I can't stress enough how important it is to have online presence, and that's multiple pronged. But you can do that. There's some free ways and there's some ways you spend, and we did it the free way for a long time until we had the money, and then we started spending as well. So
absolutely. Now I think I just heard you drop breaking news, because you said Facebook. So you're only in commercial. Did we just get a confirmation that Facebook ads actually does work for commercial clean? Because people only think it works for residential. Does it actually work for Facebook?
Okay.
For,
commercial. I might not give you the answer you want here.
Okay.
I'm not convinced yet. I'm not convinced.
Okay.
Yeah, the guys that manage our ads are convinced. They do it for us. But I haven't seen the data yet to really back it up. It's more of testing. I tried in the past personally, and it was miserable failure. Like, didn't get anything.
Right.
These guys that are doing it right now for us, it's a pretty low ad spend. I haven't seen the results yet. Right. But it's branding. It doesn't hurt, and we don't put a lot of money into it. I'm convinced that LinkedIn is probably stronger. I think it's more expensive, but I think you can speak to your audience a lot better there, like facility managers, property managers, you know, CEOs, owners, those sorts of things. So.
And not to mention, I mean, the people on LinkedIn, they're there, you know, with career and business on in their mind when they're on that platform versus Facebook. So I'm with you 100% on that entire opinion, right? Yeah. But also, I haven't spent enough money in Chester long enough either. So, but All right, cool, man. This has been excellent so far. I'm gonna have a couple more questions for you later, but first we're gonna slow it down. We're gonna jump into, actually, I guess this is speeding it up, but we're gonna jump into the lightning round where I say a word or phrase. You tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. So you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. First word is Canada.
Canada. Toronto Raptors.
Okay. All right. Partnerships.
Risky, but powerful.
Gotcha. Facebook or LinkedIn, and you probably hit it already.
Yeah, LinkedIn.
All right. TikTok or Instagram?
Well, I'm not on TikTok. I'm barely on Instagram, but I'll say Instagram.
Right. All right, cool. Favorite movie?
The Godfather.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Favorite book?
E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber.
That's a good one. That is a good one.
Yeah.
Favorite music genre?
Your audience might not enjoy praise and worship.
Fair enough. I was going to ask you for your top 5, because whatever genre you say, I'll say what's your top 5 artists in that genre then.
I'll answer.
Okay.
I know I've listened to your podcast.
Cool.
Yeah, I know you look for the rappers.
Let's do the rappers then.
I'm going to surprise you here, but when I was about, I think 19 years old, I was in a hip hop group. So
okay.
So I it's been a long time, but I can answer that. All right, so I'm going to go with Mos Def.
Okay.
Tupac.
All right.
Nas. Yep. Jay-Z. And I got to go. They're not exactly rap, but the Fugees. I love the Fugees. Yeah.
You know what? And I hate to insult anybody that came before you, but that might be the best 5 for me. That might be my favorite one right there. It's all more hip hop and not. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're from probably the same age or so, right?
Right. Probably so. Yeah. All right, man. Well, that was fun. And by the way, you said you were in the hip hop group. So that means that if I start the cipher up at one of these next events, if I start it up, you going to freestyle with me?
Don't do it. Don't embarrass me. It's been a long time.
Right. Maybe if the drinks get to flowing, we'll figure something out.
That's right. Exactly.
All right, cool, man. My last question I always ask everybody, well, actually second to last, is if for anybody watching this interview thinking they want to get started, but is just afraid to make that leap, what would you say to that person?
Yeah, you have to be ready to work hard, right? Like you have to be ready to dig your heels in, not sleep much, sacrifice, and get ready to go. But our business is, I believe, the janitorial industry is the best business in the world. It really, truly is. It doesn't take a lot of money to start at all. It's reoccurring revenue, and you can meet amazing people in it from all around the world. But you have to be ready to work hard, and you have to dig deep, and that's it. So if you're ready to get into the best industry in the world, I'd highly recommend it.
That's what's up, Jared. I appreciate you so much for coming on, man. It's been a pleasure. I had fun with you, and I look forward to building with you too, because I already know I can learn a lot from you, and I think I got some things I could hopefully help to offer as well. So,
for sure.
How can we follow your journey, man?
So a few things. So Jared Sarbit on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And then you can also add me on Facebook if you want. So that's Jared Spencer. I use my middle name. I'm the guy with the blue shirt and the white tie with 2 kids. And you can add me there. So Jared Spencer. And you can go to our website, pictureperfectcleaning.ca as well. Those are probably the best. And we're on Instagram too, Picture Perfect Cleaning on Instagram. Yeah.
All right. Perfect enough, man. Mr. Jared Sarbit, Picture Perfect Cleaning. We appreciate you so much for sharing these gems with us, man.
Thanks, AJ. Loved it.
Thank you for watching my video, and make sure you hit that like button if you liked the video, because I know you did, and also hit subscribe, and right beside that subscribe button is going to be a notification bell. You gotta click that, because guess what? You never know when I'm gonna go live. As a matter of fact, I might go live right now, so make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss my videos, all right? And if you want to start or grow your business,
check out cleanbiznetwork.com, all right? We have cleaning business starter kits. We have a lead generation service to help you grow your cleaning business, all type of stuff. And also don't forget to download the Calculated Clean mobile app as well, all right? So that's what I got for y'all until you click another video and go watch, man. Watch another video, why not? Binge on it.